What's up, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to Lattes with Lindsay on September 8th of 2020. We are on episode 3 of season 2, which has been amazing, and I'm so happy that each and every one of you are listening to this podcast, because today we're going to be talking about the keys to being a successful entrepreneur. You know, the 5 years that I've been in the business, and I hope for a very long time after this as well, has been amazing, because each year I feel like I've truly grown both as an individual and a business person, because when you're an entrepreneur and a sponge, you're able to be more comfortable within your skin. You're being able to be more confident within your skill sets as well as who you are as an individual. And I think through the years of education and learning, it has really brought me to where I am today, because, 2 years ago, when I wanted to start my own business and I called it Needing Balanced Services, I had this vision in my mind that I wanted to be my own boss one day, and I love the idea of making my own hours and helping people and of course at the end of the day, being an entrepreneur. And when I sat down and I tried to figure out how I was going to go about it and figure out what my plan was, not the logo, not the business name, not what my website was going to look like, but what was my niche that was going to help this world either, relieve their pain, decrease their anxiety, increase their mobility, decrease any type of, stress that they have in their lives that I can help improve. And in my mind, the first thing that came was mobile therapy, because if you think about it, it's kind of funny because you compare it to when someone cooks for you in your own home, or you go out to a restaurant and someone's cooking for you. I swear the food tastes better, but maybe it's just me. So when you have someone come to your home with mobile therapy, whether it's massage therapy, personal training, sports nutrition, or just nutrition in general, when they come to you and you come to like their house, I find that it's so much better and it's so much more relaxing, because you're in your own home, they set up their table, they do their thing, and then they leave and you get to stay home. You don't have to drive home after. You don't have to, get dressed really quick, get back in your cold car if it's winter time and drive home, because they come to you. And I think it was such an easy choice for me, because I know that's something that's what people love is the fact that I do come to them with my mobile therapy. And it was a very easy choice for me. And, since I've launched it, I've had such success, because everyone who is receiving treatment in their house are so grateful that I'm doing that type of therapy, as well as, being convenient for them, basing it on their hours, which I think is also super important, is being able to, work around someone's schedule, or they can work around your schedule, which is, one huge pro for being your own boss, is that, the flexibility within the hours is truly amazing. And I'm super grateful for that. That's for sure. And then, you fast forward 2 years later from when I launched my own business, I launched this podcast. And Lattes with Lindsay has been such an amazing experience thus far, because I've had people ask me, since I've started, if I can mentor them, or, if I can help them with their podcast that they've always wanted to launch. Or, I've just had people come up and say, I appreciate you educating me on healthcare professionals, because I had no idea what a kinesiologist does, or an acupuncturist has, the smallest needles. And, you probably always thought that the needles were so big. So, things like that. I think I'm truly grateful for what I've been doing thus far with my career, as well as, within the industry, because you honestly never know who you can help. So I hope this podcast helps you if you're listening. And, here are some of the keys that I found to my own success as an entrepreneur that hopefully you can take and run with. So, the very first one that I think is so important, that, a lot of people ask me, what are the keys to success? Or, how'd you get this far within your career? And I have to say it's the mindset. And a lot of people who are entrepreneurs, their mindset is so strong and driven and self-motivated, and, they're very just committed to what they want to do within their career or, their business. And I think with the right mindset, it will get you to where you want to be. And I think that's really important, because at the end of the day, it's your own business. So however much work you put into it, is what you'll get out of it. And I think that's super, super, super important. So, the second thing that I did as an entrepreneur, which was very helpful for me, was, creating goals. And it doesn't have to be a smart or smarter goal. It doesn't have to be a cookie cut, outline, but throwing goals on paper, one, holds you accountable. And two, it makes sure that you are wanting to, get to that goal, right? So for the first month of my business, I know that I wanted to hit a certain point of in-homes within a certain point of my radius of where I work. And I think I got 7 out of the 10 that I wanted to get. And, sometimes just understanding you have to create realistic goals. And I was just very driven, as I am now, that I really wanted to achieve big goals. And I wanted to, have as many in-homes as I could at the beginning. And I was a sponge and I was ready. But at the end of the day, I was just wanting to, just get out there. And I think at the beginning of your career or, your entrepreneur experience, just getting out there is the first step. And being eager is okay. It's normal. But definitely make realistic goals and definitely obtainable goals, because that will also further you in your career. The other thing that I definitely found with goals is that I have this amazing planner, and every single year I look forward to getting it from Indigo. It's $22 and it's totally worth it, because it has stickers and colors and highlights and all the stuff that I secretly need. And, I've always been an agenda type of person since I was in high school, because I find that when you have a planner and you know how to use the planner, it will help you so much, because you probably have so much going on already, or you work at multiple clinics right now, or you're trying to figure out, how to break down your day in the most efficient way possible. And I think, honestly, the planner has saved my life in many different occasions, because I've forgotten things that are happening, and that's just what it was. So, whether your planner is on your cell phone, your Google Calendars, a physical planner, I think it's really, really important to have one of those, because it just shows you, your progression. So you can see, if you started your business in January and you had 3 or 4 people a day, and then you fast forward to June, July, and you start to see, 7, 8 people a day. And then, come December, you have, 10 people, but you have 5 people who are massage therapy and a few people who are personal training and a couple that are nutrition. And now you're hitting all your goals for your own business, which is awesome. So, there's also pros to seeing your progression within that planner, not just planning for the future. So I think that's also something that people always tend to think about when they use a planner, that it's always just used for dates and remembering things, but it's also to show you your success in one option. So that's also super awesome. And, for example, right now it is 7:15 in the morning, and I am recording this podcast because one of the biggest things that I know about myself is that I am an early riser, and I love to get things done in the morning versus nighttime, because the nighttime I am so less efficient, and I don't feel that I can really reach my goals at nighttime, because I'm just tired and I don't want to do them. So, finding that time that works for you to get up, get it done, and get it done early is the most efficient way as an entrepreneur, I think, because, finishing this podcast in the morning, having time to edit it in the afternoon, and then posting it, I think that's super awesome, because I could have slept in this morning and, I could have done this podcast later and then it would have got posted later, which is also totally fine. But when you have goals that need to be obtained along with the rest of your life, you never know what's going to happen by the end of the day, or if you get caught up in something, or you have another client that comes in unexpectedly and you have to treat them. So, making sure you get up, get your work done early is super awesome because it'll definitely pay off in the long run. So that is some advice that I would definitely suggest for you. So when I was at parties and before COVID, of course, because this year has been absolutely crazy, but learning how to talk about your business is super important as well. And when I go to events or if I go to a party and people ask, oh, how's your business going? Or how is the business in general? Do you find your industry really busy right now? Blah, blah, blah. I think it's really important to know your industry, know your facts, know the history of it. I think when you start a conversation with someone and just say, oh yeah, it's pretty good, just another day in the office, that's awesome for someone who is working 9 to 5. But I think when you are an entrepreneur, it is so vital that you have a conversation with someone that is very informative. And you tell them, lately, most of my friends who are massage therapists, as well as, within our industry, is very busy right now because it's benefit season. And for those who don't know what benefit season is, it's between September and December. People typically use their benefits because they've either forgot about them or they have to use them by the end of the year. So we call it benefit season. So you have a conversation with people saying the industry is booming right now. It's really great. It's very successful. And not only are you promoting your own business and yourself, you're also promoting the massage therapy realm, if that is your realm or industry. So, knowing that you're able to communicate with people successfully about how successful your industry is almost motivates them to push harder as well. So I've also found that, when you bounce off of each other's energies and both of you are very motivated or self-driven and having this conversation, you're more likely to go home and work even harder because someone has taken you to that level of motivation and self-drive that you can actually get to that next goal that you may have achieved but wasn't sure how. So, that's one of my tidbits is showing your true passion for your industry will further your conversations wherever you are to help you grow as an individual. So, promote yourself, people. I think, last episode with Raj, we talk about, how you can promote yourself at any type of event, whether it's yourself as an individual or it's your business itself. So, make sure that you have your business cards with you. I know that there's been so many times where, I've actually met people who are walking down the street and, they saw my shirt and they asked me what it was, but I didn't have a business card on me. And, I just had to give them my cell phone number and my website and stuff like that to communicate and book an appointment. But, having those things prepared sometimes will further you as a professional and look professional with future clients or, colleagues that you may also, get into the field with. So please, please, please don't forget to promote yourself. And learning is a big, 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 big thing that I find that has really grown my career is, like I've said, being a sponge is one thing, but learning is another thing. And I think when you go back to the initial comment at the beginning of this whole podcast about mindset and goals and, becoming your own boss, all that kind of stuff, you have to be willing to learn. And for some people, learning is the 1, 2, or 3 year program for massage, for example, and that is the amount of learning that they want to achieve, and that is fine and that is wonderful. But for those who want to continue and have that self-drive and that self-motivation to push yourself to become uncomfortable, to later become comfortable in their career, every year, for example, with myself, I try and learn something new. And whether it's a personal training certification, whether it's sports nutrition, 1 year I learned kinesiology taping, or I did athletic taping. So doing those types of programs or courses to better yourself as a therapist or an individual in knowledge and confidence, I think is also a huge key to success, because when your clients come in and they see all of your diplomas or your certifications on the wall, that shows them that you are driven and motivated and educated to, help them feel more confident within their treatments that they are receiving from you versus, someone who hasn't reviewed their anatomy or palpations or special tests or anything like that, that will help them confidently achieve that client's overall goal. And I think that is super important, because who knows what their goal is, but, having that little bit of review or taking that time for yourself to better your career, I think is really important. So, with that being said, I think turning off distractions is also a huge thing while working. I never have my cell phone in my clinic room, because I think it is a huge distraction. You can get the phone on vibrate or silent, or you have it on loud, whichever. You know that it's in the room and it's very accessible to grab and swipe and, go on Instagram or any type of social media that you use. And when you create that distraction within your workspace, it is very easy to put aside your own goals for that day. Or, if you blocked out an hour to say, okay, I got to get this work done within an hour, then when you have that cell phone, typically, most people go on it, text, call, FaceTime maybe, whichever it is, but those are just distractions for, what goals you actually have to achieve in that time frame. So I think it's really important to create time for social media, or, wake up earlier, get your jobs done, and then you can, watch a movie or, go on social media and enjoy that time when able. And I think prioritizing is something that a lot of people can have a hard time with, but I think when you understand what is important in that time, finishing those website edits or finishing the podcast edits, anything like that is really important. And I think kind of turning off all those distractions, whether it is a workplace environment or if it's, you're at home and that there's a million things going on at home, so it's definitely a distracting atmosphere, then taking yourself out of that atmosphere or taking away the things that do distract you, I think is also really important to understand what works for you and what will help you achieve your goals the fastest. So definitely try and work on those, because I think those have really helped me improve. Like I said, I wake up really early in the morning. I try and get things done as soon as possible, so I can have a bomb breakfast, a really good workout, and achieve the rest of my goals for the rest of the day. So I think that's also something that I would strongly suggest for all of you who are listening. The thing that we were talking about also was having those goals set. And I think a lot of people are so focused on seeing the money goals. And money is great. Money is effective. It can further your business. It can, definitely investing in yourself is very important. But focusing on the money all the time as an entrepreneur isn't really the easiest goal for you, because you'll definitely start to get hard on yourself sometimes, or understanding, yes, you have to push harder, but within this time frame, it is very difficult. So trying to figure out how to maximize, say if you have a day for in-homes, how do you maximize that day for in-homes so you continuously get that income growth, which is definitely important. But, what entrepreneurs sometimes forget within my industry is volunteering is something that can further your career with connections, potential job opportunities, hours that build onto your resume that can help you further your career more than I think that most people know. So, focusing on money and only having money goals is not something that should be the main focus. It definitely should be a goal, but it shouldn't be the main goal. One of my goals, for example, for my business is to launch a platform that is used for tutoring, mentorship, as well as, just an educational platform, which is my podcast. And that is one of my goals for my business, to help the general public further understand what healthcare professionals truly are and how to really benefit yourself using those things. So, that's an example of how, I created a goal, but it's not, financial based. And then, I have also other goals for financials. Like I said before, having a certain amount of clients and a certain amount of days can maximize my financial goals for the future to pay my taxes and, pay for my rent and all that kind of stuff. So understanding which goals are important versus which goals are priority is definitely a key element as well. I had someone ask me the other day, do you study your competition? And I thought about that for a little while because, I get questions all the time after I release a podcast, and that's a pretty interesting one. Do I study my competition? Do I think it's important to study the competition? Absolutely. But I don't think you should do it too hard, because I think everyone has different goals and opportunities that, you have to understand that everyone has different outcomes within their own businesses. And it's good to know that there's competition out there, because it'll help self-drive you and give you motivation to push through those boundaries that you've created for yourself to further your career. But, knowing the competition out there, awesome. Do I study the competition? No, I definitely don't. I admire the work that people have put into their jobs and their businesses. I think it's really great and motivating, but I definitely don't really study like, I should be doing this or I should be doing this. There's always room for improvement within your own business. So looking for tips and tricks, yes, but definitely, not studying them as hard as I think people think that you should. So have you ever had a moment where, you're looking at your friend group and you're smiling and you're so grateful to have them? I have this so many times in my life, and, I've definitely had trials and tribulations with so many people, which is, natural in life. And, I look at my core friends now, and I'm so, so happy, because each and every one of them is self-driven and have had plateaus, have had peaks, and they've overcome all of it. And I think when I watch someone who has their own business, as well as just working in general, I think it's awesome, because, each industry will teach you something new about themselves. And when you have people around you who believe in you, I think that's super important as an entrepreneur, because you feed off people's energy. Like if someone tells me that, I feed off your energy, I love, what you're posting, it's so energetic, it's very motivating, and it's making me want to go work out. Or it's, I had a friend tell me once that she's going to go finish her master's because I motivated her when I, finished my sports nutrition diploma. And when you have people like that who, are so proud of you, but you're also so proud of their journey, I think it's so amazing, because, when you have people around you that are positive bunnies, and, I always call like my friends like queens. Like I was like, you are amazing. You guys are queens. You are gems. And when, I can't forget the kings. Sorry. Oh, my guys too. But, I think it's really important to surround yourself with positive energy and motivating energy, whether it's, fitness, whether it's eating good, whether it's, hiking, traveling, whichever it is. I think when you surround yourself with positivity and good people, it'll come back within your work, because, your energy is positive. And, when you have setbacks and you have conversations with your friends, you will definitely see in all industries, everyone has setbacks. Everyone has negative times where, their business may not be going as well as it should be. I mean, look at COVID, right? Like most entrepreneurs really struggled during that time, because we, our business just plateaued. We had no other option but to just sit back and wait. And, most of us were trying to finish our edits on our websites that we haven't been able to have time to do, or, launch a podcast during, COVID. I think it's just being able to push that envelope is something that a lot of entrepreneurs show as, their personality traits or their characteristics. And I think that's awesome. So, sticking to your guns because your dreams are definitely achievable is something that, I really, really hope that people, take from this podcast, that just because, you're scared at the beginning, or you don't know where to start, just grab your planner, sit down, write down everything that you can think of, like if you have a name for a business already, or if you know the industry that you want to get into, sit down, write it out, come up with a plan or some type of goal that you want to achieve. And honestly, the rest will just flow naturally. Like if you were to ask me, 5 years ago, what were you thinking to do with your career once you graduate massage therapy? And I know I wanted to get into sports, but I didn't know kind of where yet. So I started with clinics. I built with some really inspiring owners that have really, pushed the envelope for me as a therapist, getting me into, how to measure orthotics, or, different types of programs or courses to take. And if they didn't help me kind of guide me into that area, I probably wouldn't have had the Pan Am Games. I probably wouldn't have had the Israel opportunities that I've created for myself. I think overall, people have to understand that you have to work hard, and when you work hard, success will follow. And when you reach that point of success, it's not the end. Okay? There's never, as an entrepreneur, I don't really think that there is ever a true end goal, because each year you find something new, either about yourself or your industry or your business, that can go just that little extra mile that you may have not have thought could happen. And, honestly, I knew I wanted to own my own business, but I had no idea where I was going to start. But, now I think about it, that I do own my own business proudly. I am my own boss. I get to make my own hours. I launched a website. 2 years after I launched my business, I launched a podcast. I've treated some of the most elite athletes in the world. I've traveled the world. I've been able to, achieve so many of my goals for learning. And if you asked me that a long time ago, I probably wouldn't have told you any of that, because I had no idea yet what was coming, but I was so eager and driven and self-motivated that the people that surrounded me said, this girl's going to go somewhere, and they helped me get to that place, and they helped me understand my own potential. And, surrounding yourself with those people and learning to get your mindset right is something that I truly, truly hope that each and every one of you take from this podcast, that there are so many keys to being a successful entrepreneur, but it takes you as an individual to make all of it happen. If you want to be your own boss, you have to work hard. You have to earn the respect in the field. You have to build and gain that experience. You have to, put so much passion into your goals, promote yourself, understand that there's a time and a place for social media or, distractions. Find that atmosphere that works for you and that time frame that is the most effective for you to see change. And when you combine all those together, it just gets me excited, because you know what? You are going to do it. And I truly believe that if you are listening to this podcast and you've listened to all these different keys to success, that you have the tools now to write your own story and create your own success. And I wish you all the best of luck, and I hope that this is such an inspiring moment for you. And if there is any point in time that you need advice or suggestions, please follow me at needing.balance on Instagram, or contact me on my needingbalanceservices.com website, and I would be so happy to answer any questions or concerns that you guys have about entrepreneurship. And, we can just make it happen. So all the best, guys. My latte's done. I will see you next Tuesday.